I'm Jason Sandoval. I transferred into UCSD from Mesa College. Before that, I was in the Air Force about 9 years, and I did a little contract work. So when I came to UCSD, I was 37, I think. So I was kind of an older student when I started. I knew I wanted to do computer science. When I transferred in, I started as a computer science major, and and now I'm at Arista Networks. I work at a pretty low level. I work at bringing up prototypes of hardware switches. So I have to take the hardware, describe it in a way that our higher level software can understand, so that it can run, and do the job it needs to do to get the packets flowing on the switch. I kind of feel the same way about anything I've ever done in CS. The most useful class was probably 30, and then after that, most likely compilers. 30 being, I can't remember what they call it now, but it was really low level. It talked about, it was in assembly, so it was like the foundation of all the other things that I learned while I was at UCSD. And then once I took compilers, then I had a much better understanding of the way every language works and the way every program kind of runs. And with that as a foundation, I was able to understand pretty much anything that I've seen in the field, when working on stuff. Most of the people that I work with are EEs and CEs that have done a lot of coding. Most of the people that I work, in a day-to-day with, and then I also work directly with electrical engineers, the people that are actually designing the hardware. So it definitely helps to have knowledge of hardware, but the way that the software is, I could know nothing about hardware and still get it done, because the hardware guys provide a spec for me, and if there was anything I didn't understand, I could always ask them. But I have a tendency to instead look through the spec myself and kind of try to understand it, because I have some interest in hardware also. I would have probably taken the classes in the correct order. I don't know why, but they let me do some things I probably shouldn't have done in respect to order of classes, and so I got ahead of myself in certain areas, and I felt a little behind when I would start those classes. But yeah, I think the recommended order is actually pretty solid. It's good to stick with it. Don't try to take any shortcuts. Get into a certain class so you can take it with a friend or whatever. That is a very weird story. So when I was young, long ago, computers were magical, and they filled up rooms. And so when I was growing up, I got to play with the computer a few times. I was like, oh, this is cool. But when I graduated high school, I still wasn't really exactly sure what I wanted to do. So I went into the Air Force, and I was computer and switching systems maintenance or some crazy thing. And I was actually putting in programs for maintenance in these giant mainframes, one hex digit at a time, and it was crazy. And I didn't know exactly what was going on, but I knew it was really cool. When I would finish certain things, something would happen, and occasionally I would try to modify them, and all that would ever happen is I would crash the thing. So that never went anywhere, but I knew that was kind of neat. So at some point when I was in the Air Force, I had a chance to train into a different job, so I decided to try programming. Programming in the Air Force is not real programming. It's a little strange, but I got a taste of it, and I thought that was a lot of fun. So when I got out of the Air Force and did some contract work, and then kind of decided, I want to do something else, that's why I headed to programming. Definitely try to tutor. I gained a lot from that. Every class that I tutored for, I felt like I learned way more than any person that I tutored. Individually, collectively, I would hope that I accomplished a little something. But individually, I would help them through a single problem, but because I'm helping hundreds of people through all their little problems, I'm learning from every one of those. And definitely when I was going through interviews, and the interviews is when it really popped into my head. There were so many questions they would ask me, and I would not have known the answer if I hadn't helped someone else through something very similar while tutoring.